Hi, Greg Muir here again, currently on the Silver Hill project where a big amount of rock was blasted. What I would first like to point out is the tree roots that are hanging off of this. There's some pretty good sized trees. Let me get my pointer here. Right up here is the top of the rock cut. Right there, right up there is the root balls hanging off the edge. Let me go down through here. Just bear with me on what I'm talking about here. Right here's something I want you to see. Right here is the face of the rock. Right here, face. Right here, it's hard to see. Right here's the edge of a root ball stump. Just so you can see. Let me get up here. Take your time. I don't want to get hurt. Oh, right here is a 4-foot thing. Stick. Right there is the end of the stick in the rock. Right here is my hand where the stump is hanging over. This is halfway at least on the stick. As you can see, this is about 2 foot of overhang on that stump on this rock cut. Just give me a minute here. Let me walk over here where some of the rock was blasted over the bank and it was set off. Here's some more trees that were toppled into the creek. Again, I do want people to come see this stuff. Drive around. Look at what I'm showing you. If you don't believe me, look. Look at it. There is a barrel down there. Probably somebody threw in there, a kid or something. Construction barrel. I don't know if you can see the orange. Yeah, there's the orange. Laying in the bottom of the creek. Oh, let's walk up the top of this rock cut so I can show you some more stuff. When the rock cut is drilled and prepared to blast, depending on what type of rock it is, what you get into the geological studies of the rock. Many jobs are test drilled to see what type of rock it is. Usually if you scrape some of it off, you can get a good general knowledge of it, what kind of rock it is. I worked on 4 or 5 rock cuts. One of them was out in Henderson Harbor, what's it called, a lookout. I don't know if people know where that is. Some people do. It was a 90-foot face. Right here. Right here's the top of slope, which is about a 1 on 1.5. And we'll be explaining that. Let's see, any rock cut that is done is scaled, which is a method of cleaning off the top of the rock. Here, with my pointer, is the edge of the rock cut. This is basically a straight drop, maybe a 1 on 1. This rock cut should have been scaled back, at least on a 1 on 4 slope with a 2-foot flat spot on the face of the rock. Here's a tree root ball hanging on the edge of it. This dirt should have been scaled off the top of this rock. Let me see. I'm going to have to go through the woods here. Here's an extremely large pine tree. I do believe it's on state land. Oh! As I walk along the top here, this is very dangerous up here, just so people know. Don't be playing around the top of rock cuts. When I worked on a 90-foot face, I chucked steel for 2 drills. My brother ran one, and a good friend of mine ran the other that has his blasting license. I have been around dynamite. I have loaded holes. Right here you can see, straight down. This is There's about 4 foot of overburden here. It should have been scraped back. Any attempt would be better than nothing. Again, there's a root ball. If these pictures are not good, drive up here. Drive up this road and look at this. I do believe the county was involved in this. When a rock cut is drilled, certain patterns are used on how far apart to drill the holes. There is a thing called a pre-split that is drilled, which is drilled out on the very front part of the cut with the purpose of relieving the pressure of the weight of the rock. The pre-split is set with delayed time caps so that rock will be blown off before the rock behind it. I am breathing hard. I recently quit smoking as I was in the hospital for 4 days with a bad infection in my leg. I am chewing. You probably noticed me spitting a lot. I'm getting back in shape. This. Here's a tire retaining wall that was built to supposedly save money. These are where the used tires were used that the town had, dump truck tires. I do see a building going up there. This was done to stabilize that slope, supposedly where the town had taken gravel out of there. I'm going to talk more about that in a minute. Getting back to the retaining wall, was supposed to save money by not having to get rid of the tires. I do believe there was alternate methods that could have been used. I'm not going to say any more about the retaining wall right now. I am up here to show you something about ditches. There's a lot of money has been spent on blasting ditches. This one looks to be like it was blasted. All the money was spent to blast this ditch, and this ditch is taking water but is only within a foot of the road. For that much money spent, this ditch should have been drilled deeper so that you could obtain a better ditch so that washout of this road would not occur. Here is a big rock right here. Right there's the edge of the road. This is something that's been overlooked. If I went off of my truck and hit that, I'd probably do quite a bit of damage. Quite a bit of damage right here could be done if you went off. As the foreslope of this road is actually starting to wash out. Getting back to the retaining wall, the amount of rock that was blasted on this job and hauled to the pit, which I do know that too because I talked to the drivers. Where the retaining wall was put, a proper slope protection could have been in using the riprap with a keyway dug on the bottom, at least 2 to 3 feet deep, where the rock could actually be keyed in. Same thing with pouring concrete when you make a keyway. And proper slope protection could have been placed there with the rock off of this job, which would not have cost as much money to haul. This doesn't make sense to me or add up. Good planning is involved in working on these roads. I do know they try to save money, but working as a highwayman for 19 years and working on $30 to $40 million projects, I know how to build a road. I know where to put material. I know when I see something that isn't right. As soon as I get up here, I will be showing you some of the trees that were pushed into this pond. Here I am on the Forbes Road again, standing here with some cobbles. I do not believe these cobbles were dug up on this road. I believe these were hauled in and put in here for some kind of drainage. I don't know what type of drainage. I do believe they could have been put in here as a stone ditch. Maybe future planning of that, I don't know. I do believe these cobbles come out of the town pit. I do not believe they bought them out of a gravel pit. If I remember correctly, I remember them hauling gravel out of a pit in Russell, a personal landowner's pit. And I remember them hauling, as that day I was watching, hauling them from the personal landowner's pit down to the screener and screening the cobbles, which is a good thing, but can have some repercussions to that if the right rules and regulations aren't followed. The rock that was blasted on this job could have been put in that ditch, as there's a rock cut right here. Could have been shuttled down there with a loader. Could have been sorted with a backhoe so there wasn't oversized rock in it, as sometimes there is. Many things. Getting up here to where the trees have been pushed into the pond. I would like to show you this. Let me get up here. Let me stop right here. Put my flashers on. If someone believes this to be untrue, I don't know how else to explain it. But there is a pine tree buried. There's a rock with a drill hole in it from blasting. There's a tree laying in the pond right there. Some rock is put in there, which is fine. Rock is a natural thing. Trees are natural, but I don't believe should be pushed into a pond and left, as you can see. That should not be done, especially in a wetland. I do believe that's probably a wetland pond there. Is it a big deal? Probably not. Could they have cut that off and dragged it up out of there? I do believe they could have. Here we are on the Burnell Road again, my favorite road. Some ditching was done here along a person's yard. As you can see, there's a telephone pole there. I don't see any flags. There might not have been nothing here for a UFO. I don't know if one was called in or not, as everything's overhead here. Should one have been called in? Yeah, ditching was done right where they usually put cables and lines. Trench was dug across the road on the other end. Regardless of whether you think you know if there's anything, even if you think you know, you still should call UFO.